when this comes in the context of divorce, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives a couple of verses of talaq in Surah Al-Baqarah. He gives a couple of verses of talaq in Surah Al-Baqarah, speaking about divorce and the rulings on divorce. And in the ending, in the middle of one of the ayahs, Allah, He says, don't forget that which is good between you. So I'm going to read the ayah. We have some observations from the ayah. Allah, He says, after أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإن طلقتموهن من قبل أن تمسوهن وقد فرضتم لهن فريضة فنصف ما فرضتم إلا أن يعفون أو يعفو الذي بيده عقدة النكاح وأن تعفوا أقرب للتقوى ولا تنسوا الفضل بينكم إن الله بما تعملون بصير. Allah, He says, when it comes to divorce, in regards to divorce, وَإِن طَلَّقْتُمُوهُنَّ مِن قَبْلِ أَن تَمَسُّوهُنَّ, and if you give a divorce, and if you divorce them, if the man divorces his wife before you touched the wife, but here touch is consummation of the marriage. So if you give a divorce before consummating the marriage, but after deciding on a dowry, in Islam we have something called mahar. You pay the woman her mahar, it's her right. Mahar is dowry. It's the gift that you give the woman, it's the obligatory gift you gift a woman in terms of money. So Allah, He says, if you divorce this woman before you had full relations with her, before consummation, but you already agreed upon a dowry, so now Allah gives us the ruling. Allah explains to us the ruling of this in the Quran. So if you divorce them before consummating the marriage, but after deciding upon a dowry, Allah, He says, فَنِصْفُ مَا فَرَّطْتُمْ إِلَّا أَن يَعْفُونَ. So pay half of the dowry, unless the wife graciously waives it. So now, you didn't have full relations and you divorce, it doesn't work out. Allah says you pay her half. So you don't have to pay the whole thing because you didn't consummate, but you pay her half. Except if she waives that. Except if she waives that. You're going to all understand why we're talking about this at the end of the khatira, because we're trying to make a point. Because there's a subtle point in this ayah, it's a very beautiful point. So Allah says, unless she waives it, yani she could forgive. And she could say, no, you could take all of it back, no problem. We didn't have, it's okay. Or the husband graciously pays it in full, because Allah says, إِلَّا أَن يَعْفُونَ أَوْ يَعْفُوَ الَّذِي بِيَدِهِ عُقَدَةُ النِّكَاحِ. Or the husband, he pays it in full. So right now the guy, he divorces the girl before having full relations. Allah says now the obligation here is he pays half of it, but not full. Or she could pardon him. The wife can pardon. She could say, no, take it all back, no problem. Or the husband could say, no, take it all, it's okay, I don't want anything back, take it all, no problem. You see? Or he graciously pays it in full. And then Allah, He says, وَأَن تَعْفُوا أَقْرَبُ لِلتَّقْوَى. And graciousness is closer to righteousness. وَأَن تَعْفُوا أَقْرَبُ لِلتَّقْوَى. And if you were to back down on your right, or if she was to back down on her right, that's the higher road to take. That's أَقْرَبُ لِلتَّقْوَى. Graciousness is closer to piety or righteousness. وَلَا تَنْسَوُا الْفَضْلَ بَيْنَكُمْ. And do not forget kindness amongst yourselves. And don't forget to be good to each other. Just because you're getting a divorce, it doesn't mean you could be bad. No. And don't forget goodness between each other. And then Allah, He says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ بَصِيرٌ. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all seeing over everything that happened and what's going to happen. Allah, إِنَّ اللَّهَ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ بَصِيرٌ. Allah is aware now. When you go to the office of the Imam to get a divorce, Allah, He's aware. And what happened, the divorce, what happened that reached you to the point of divorce, Allah is aware. And after the divorce, what happens, Allah is aware. Allah is always aware. Allahu bima ta'maluna basir. Indeed, God is all aware of everything that goes down. And it's important for Allah to mention this at the end of the context, because you have to know that when you're going through this, Allah, He sees. So He sees if you're oppressed, and He sees if you oppress. Allah sees if you oppress or if you are oppressed. And Allah doesn't forget. Anyway, this ayah has a beautiful, beautiful point to it. We see two stages. We see two stages or two levels. We have two levels here. We have the level of two levels of goodness, or two levels of what you could do here. Two scenarios. One better scenario and one much better scenario, which is a scenario of ihsan and goodness and righteousness. And the other one is the normal scenario. So Allah, He says again, and Allah, He says, don't forget that good which has been brought between you two. And right before that, He says, وَأَن تَعْفُوا أَقْرَبُ لِلتَّقْوَى. If you were to pardon from your end, this is closer to righteousness. This is higher level. The normal level is the obligation level. You can say, oh, but it's my right. I want my right. أريد حقي, right? It's your right. It's your right to receive your right. So if the woman says at the end of the divorce where they didn't consummate, she goes, no, it's my right. I want half of the mahr. Let's say, for example, the mahr was $10,000, which is the normal mahr, right? Sometimes 50,000, sometimes 200, depending on who you marry, right? The Prophet said the more barakah is in the less mahr. Yeah. He said the more barakah is the less mahr. Anyway, let's say the mahr is $10,000. So you agree upon $10,000, and then you get married, and then 2 weeks after you get married, it's not working out, but you didn't have full relations. You didn't have full relations. So now, Islamically speaking, when it comes to rights and regulations, Islamically speaking, she deserves half. It's your obligation to pay her half. What's half of 10? 5,000. So Islamically speaking, what's right is you pay her 5,000. But Allah tells us in the ayah, وَأَن تَعْفُوا أَقْرَبَ لِلتَّقْوَى. But if she goes down on that 5 and says, no, it's okay, you take it all, no problem. It's better for her. It's better for her. It's more righteous. And the same thing goes with him. Because Allah says, and the person who has the right, the man, if he tells her, no, take the whole thing, I don't want any, it's better. Whoever does this afu is higher, closer to taqwa. So forgiveness and pardoning, when it comes to this, is higher. It's that higher route to take. It's righteousness, it's ihsan. Because you could pardon. You don't have to pardon. You could take your right. But taking your right is the normal route. And taking your right isn't the higher route. We understand? It's your right. You could take the 5,000, sister. You know? But if you forgive him and you tell him to take all, this is a higher route to take. It's ihsan. And he can also say, the man can also can say, no, you take it all. I don't want any of it. You take it all. That's all for you. And he would have taken the higher route. And the point is that there's a better way to do something and a perfect way to do something with immaculate etiquette and good virtue. And then there's the normal way that is written for everyone that you could do. So inshallah, there's nothing wrong with either, but there's one that's better. And the one that's better is the one that leaves a better taste in the mouth of the other person. The higher route, the ihsani route, leaves a better taste in the mouth and the heart of the other person. The person feels a lot better, and it leaves good feelings. So after this has been made clear by Allah, and He made it clear that the one who takes the higher route is closer to taqwa. The one who forgives and goes down on their right is closer to taqwa. Because taking your right is normal. No, but going down on your right is closer to taqwa. Because going down on your right means you're making the situation better. And then Allah, He says, وَلَا تَنْسُوا الْفَضْلَ بَيْنَكُمْ. Don't forget the goodness that you had between each other. Because you were married. At one point in time, you were married. Even if it was 2 weeks, you were married. So you shouldn't forget the good that happened between you. Because there was good that happened between you. Or else you wouldn't have got married. So Allah says, don't forget the good. It's like a subtle reminder from Allah. It's beautiful. Because it's a subtle reminder from Allah saying that not everything is all bad. There was good. There was some good in it. And you should remember the good. And you should magnify the good. That's the believer. He magnifies and he remembers good always. And he clings to good. He doesn't cling to bad. Pessimism is not Islam. Optimism is Islam. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam كان يحب التفاؤل في كل شيء. The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he used to love being optimistic in everything. This is the mu'min. The mu'min, he looks back at anything and he remembers good times. When the pessimistic person with no iman, he looks back and all he can remember is bad. Some people, they have disease. May Allah cure us. Wallahi, may Allah cure us. We speak to ourselves first. They only see bad in everything. You go over with the person to go visit the house of someone and you leave the house and you're thinking, oh, it was nice. I like the tea. You know, they didn't have honey. I would prefer honey, but they had brown sugar. You think good in your head. And then you go in the car and the person next to you says, it was so bad. They didn't have nothing. They didn't give us good ikram. What was that? That was so bad. Brother, what? Well, I feel like we went to 2 different places. Well, I feel like I went to 2 different places. I didn't think that bad. It was okay. It wasn't bad. You know, they tried their best. They didn't jump up to serve us immediately. Disrespect. You know, it was hot. They didn't turn the AC on. Does their AC not work? Are they cheap? They don't want to put the AC on? Whoa. The moment he looks at the good in everything. The moment he left the house, he was so happy. He was like, it was nice, we saw people. It's a subtle reminder from Allah not to forget the good and to magnify good and to stick to good. And if someone has this kind of mindset in his life, he's always victorious because he's always in a good mood. And his mental health is always happy because he sees good in everything. And that's how the Prophet ﷺ was. And that's how he used to train his companions. And the Prophet used to make jokes with his companions and smile. And he used to give them good, nice, playful nicknames to uplift them. The mu'min uplifts and holds on to good. And that's the point of the khatara. Hold on to good. And forgiving and pardoning is ultimately better than taking what you could take, even if it's your right. It's nicer to forgive and pardon. It's nicer to do something nice to someone because it leaves a better taste. But that's always the higher route. We ask Allah to bless us with understanding and wisdom and ihsan. We ask Allah to make us people of ihsan and to make us a people of optimism. We ask Allah to make us magnify what is good and to minimize what is bad and to only look at the good. We ask Allah to accept from us this day, inshallah, and to accept from us Laylatul Qadr. We ask Allah to balighna Laylatul Qadr wa yataqabbal minna Laylatul Qadr. We ask Allah to make us a people who always return to Him in tawbah and inabah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us of our shortcomings and to make us of those who have been freed from the fire. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam tasliman kathira.